Hi, everybody. Here we are again in our Gemara shiur, Gemara Shabbos. Yeah, daf by daf, stage by stage. Be'ezrat Hashem, we are advancing in Shabbos. Baruch Hashem. This year is Le'ilu Nishmas, my father, Rabbi Nachman Akiva, Ruth Bas Shalom, Sol Bas Moshe, for the refuah of all the sick people, Hatzloch of everybody, and the quick release of the hostages. May people in Los Angeles be saved. Be'ezrat Hashem. And let's go. Let's go. Shabbos Kuf Chaf Zayin Amud Beis. We will review a little bit of what we did yesterday at the end of the shiur. We are in the seventh or so line from the bottom of the page. Ma'aser Rishon Shenitla Trumosoi. So what's the topic? What's the story over here? We're talking this is Perek Mifanin, Masechet Shabbos. The Mishnah gave us a list of things, foods. Could be animal foods mainly, but everything here can apply to human food as well. And there's a list of foods that are not muktzeh. Halachically, they are edible, they are kosher, so to speak, and thus not muktzeh. And then we're going to see the blacklist, so to speak, of things that are muktzeh because they cannot be consumed. Pshita. What's the first thing on the list? We had Dmai, we had other things, we discussed it yesterday. Now comes an item called Ma'aser Rishon Shenitla Trumosoi. Ma'aser Rishon, meaning that after, or so we assume, after the person who has a whole bunch of, let's say, wheat, barley, and he gave Truma Gdoil to the Kohen, because that's the order of Matnas Kehuna. Afterwards, he's supposed to give Ma'aser Rishon to the Levi, and then after the Ma'aser Rishon to the Levi is supposed to give, in her turn, Trumas Ma'aser to the Kohen. Okay, so the Mishnah said that if you have Ma'aser Rishon Shnitla Trumosoi, let's assume it's in Levi's hands. He has Ma'aser Rishon he received from the soil, then he gives his part to the Kohen. Great. So now it's edible, it's good, it's kosher, because the Israel gave what he needs to give to the Levi. The Levi gave what he has to give to the Kohen, and life is beautiful. It's so beautiful, it's just too good to be truth. The Gemara is asking Pshita. Of course, what's the question? And the Gemara, why does the Mishnah have to tell me that this is not Muktzeh? Why should it be? Answers the Gemara, Lo tzricha. We do have to talk about the case of Ma'aser Rishon. There is something necessary here to be discussed. Why? Shekdimo b'shiboilin v'nit lo imenu trumas ma'aser v'lo not lo imenu truma gdoilo. Which means we're talking here about a very interesting case in which the Levi took, or the Yisrael gave the Levi. The Yisrael who's the owner of the grains of the produce. He gave the Levi his Ma'aser Rishon before Truma Gdoila. Truma Gdoila was skipped. The Truma Gdoila, which should be the first one, was ignored, was skipped, and the person ran straight into Ma'aser Rishon. This, of course, should not be done. Well, first of all, because you're not supposed to change the order of Ma'aseros, as Rashi says. You can also claim that you are indirectly stealing from the Kohen what he deserves. And yet we say here that if that was a story, if this was done, but the Eved, as we're going to see now, you don't have to give Truma Gdoila. You skip the Truma Gdoila, the show can go on without Truma Gdoila being given. Rabbi Abahu quotes Resh Lakish to be saying, Ma'aser Rishon shekdimo b'shiboilin poter mitruma gdoila. Ma'aser Rishon shekdimo b'shiboilin poter mitruma gdoila. I will soon explain what's shiboilin. This is an extremely important point to mention. But first, we're talking about the general picture. Ma'aser Rishon shekdimo, early. He jumped the gun. It took Ma'aser Rishon before giving the Truma Gdoila. Then the Truma Gdoila, you're exempt from giving it. Shenema. V'arimoisim mimenu Trumas Hashem. Ma'aser min ha'ma'aser. Says in Parshas Koirach, in the Parsha of Trumas Ma'aser, take Meiser from the Meiser. Meiser, sagt die Gemorre, Diuk, Drosha, Meiser mit dem Meiser, אמרתי לך, ולא תרומה גדולה ותרומת Meiser, מן המeiser. Once it's in the hands of the Levi, what's been is been. And you don't have to give him Truma Gdoila anymore to the Kohen, because Meiser and Meiser and not Truma Gdoila. Everyone's going to ask, what's going on here? What is this mafia over here, jungle? The answer is, as the Gemara said twice, Beshiboilin. What does Shiboilin mean? Shiboilin means that this business of giving the Meiser Rishon first was done before there was a chiyuv to give any Meiser. There was no chiyuv to give Meiser yet when it was Beshiboilin. Shiboilin means that the whole thing is still, let's talk about wheat, for example. The wheat is all messy, all one big pile, here, there, and everywhere, a balagan, and therefore the chiyuv of dogon did not yet apply. By the way, I don't think I've explained it yet in this shiur. The word dogon, dgoncho tiroshcho v'yitzarecho, the word dagan means, produce cereals, actually. Yeah, look up in the Hebrew translation of a cereal box, yeah, it says dagan, dganei boker. Dagan is a cereal. However, in real Lashon HaKodesh, dagan actually means only once it was nidgan, once it's already set and memurach, when it's tidy and ready for the next stage. Before that, there's no chiyuv meiser. So the way that we're tricking the system here, kivyochol, which is b'di'eved, is the meiser rishon was taken before truma was chayev. So because the guy managed to give to the Levi, the owner gave the Levi before chiyuv truma was created, that's why the truma gdola doesn't apply. Once you missed it because you managed to one-up it, then we say you don't have to give Truma Gdola further. However, I didn't want to say it before because the Gemara will say it now. Now you're ready for the Gemara. Remember the names, Rav Papa and Abaye, they're going to appear later again. So Rav Papa is asking about Ihachi, if the Pasuk is telling me something so against what I would say, but the Pasuk says, Meiser and Meiser, and not Truma from Meiser, if so, Afilu Ekdimu Bekri, not the Potter. So let's say the Israel gave the Levi even after it's a Kri. Kri means when it's already set up. Dogon, nice, tidy. Maybe if the same story happened then, the Truma Gdoila was ignored and skipped, you can still go on and give you gave the Levi already. You don't have to give Truma Gdoila later. What's the difference? Omar Lei, no, because you're learning it from the Torah. Maybe the Torah spoke about all cases. Omar Lei, no. Answer is Abaye. Alecha Omar Kro, the Torah says about you, actually means the Torah says about your idea. The Torah also thought about your idea. And the Torah is telling us, Omar Kro, the Pasuk says, Mikol matnoisechem tarimu. There is an inclusive Pasuk, Mikol matnoisechem tarimu, which means you always have to be Merim what? Truma Gdoila. Truma Gdoila always has to be taken from any type of matono, mikol matnoisechem, which means even from Meiser Rishon, which means Meiser Rishon came and jumped the line, jumped the queue, and now there is Meiser Rishon. Even then, from Meiser Rishon, the Levi now, which is very rare, besides giving the Torah's Meiser, he also has to give the altar, the old Truma Gdoila. So the question is, Frek the Gemara, Umara Isa, why do you apply this here and that over there? Why do you say that in one case he has to give the Truma Gdoila, the other case he doesn't? Now we're going to say the punchline, which I already told you before. I idgan v'lo idgan. Very good. That's a very, very clear difference. I idgan. When you skipped the Truma Gdoila and you did not give Truma Gdoila after the Miruach, the Truma Gdoila is screaming to you, hey, I'm here. You mechuyev to give Truma Gdoila because it was idgan, there was Miruach. So you have to give Truma Gdoila, the chiyuv was created. You skipped it and you gave Meiser Rishon. Besides affecting maybe Chayv Malkus, even maybe. Besides that, Truma Gdoila is not going anywhere. The chiyuv was created, it's not going anywhere. So now you just pass the buck. Now the Levi will be the one, according to Rashi, will have to give the Truma to pay the old debt of Truma Gdoilo. But I lo Yidgan. The case we're talking about in our Gemara is what? In our Mishnah and Gemara, lo Yidgan. When the cereals were all messy, were all not in order, and there was no chiyuv yet of Truma Gdoilo, you can give Truma Sumaisros, and you do be not chayev. Because the chiyuv was not as strict of Truma Gdoilo, and you managed to skip the line before Truma Gdoilo came to the scene. There was no clear cut chiyuv yet. We know there will be, but not yet. The Truma Gdoilo didn't yet take its ticket in the line in the bank. It's almost, yeah. The Truma Gdoilo is not waiting in line, and therefore, if the Ma'aser Rishon came first, tough luck. Ma'aser Rishon is taking place, and there's no chiyuv to give the Truma Gdoilo. What does that have to do with our Mishnah? That's a story. We're talking about Ma'aser Rishon in the hands of the Levi, but Truma Gdoilo was ignored. Truma Gdoilo was omitted, and the Chiddush is b'diavad nish gefährlich. You don't have to give Truma Gdoilo, and therefore it's kosher, and it's called gemeistered, and it's not Muktzeh. That's the point. Baruch Hashem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. U'maiser sheni. Frag the Gemara again, Pshita. Maiser sheni, what did we say? The other example, Maiser sheni, she nifda. You're poide the Maiser sheni, great. You took the Maiser sheni value. You said, here's Maiser sheni outside Yerushalayim. I'm not going to Yerushalayim, that's too far. Yirchak mimcho amokoim. Yeah, yar ba'alecha derech. So what do? You switch. You redeem the Kedusha of Maiser sheni on money. The money is holy. The ex Maiser Sheni is now, the Kedusha was removed. Of course you can eat it. Of course it's not Muktzeh. Why should I think it's Muktzeh? Pshita, of course. And says the Gemara, lo itzricha. We do need to tell me a Chiddush over here. Because what's the case here? Shenosan es a keren, v'lo nosan es a choimesh. Oh, which means sometimes there are cases in which a person, when he's poide, either Maiser Sheni or Hekdesh. If the person is poide Maiser Sheni or Hekdesh, that he himself is poide, if my name is Reuven Shimon, and I am the one who was Mafrish Maiser Sheni, and I'm the same person who's also doing the pidyon, not other people, but myself, Chamishisa Yosef Olav. I have to add a fifth, which is really a fourth, because it's a different kind of cheshbon, you have to add an amount. And he didn't. In our case, he didn't. In our Mishnah, he was poide, yeah, let's say he was poide 200 shekels, and he forgot, or chose to forget, the extra 50, which he has to give. The fruiter is worth 200 shekels. He should have given 250, because he himself is poide. If you are poide, my meiser, then nobody has to give meiser sheni. The Gemara in Kedusha has a whole shtick if the husband and the wife can do it. So it's a different person, really was poide, it's my wife. Okay, that's another shaila. She owns different money, say there. But lamaisa, if I did not do full pidyon because it was poide, but it wasn't poide, the extra, the surcharges, what's halacha? Aha! But the end, chomish is not me'akev. I don't know, maybe I'll have to give it later, maybe not, I don't know. But lamaisa, it's not me'akev. The pidyon is pidyon. You may owe money, I don't know. But the Maiser Sheni can be eaten. And therefore it's not Muktzeh, and that's a Chiddush. It's not Muktzeh because even though the extra bit was not given, it's a lechatchila of the Torah, but not the Dievin, which is interesting. We see one more case here in the Torah. It's one case of Din Torah, in which something should happen lechatchila, but the Dievin it's not Me'akev. Yeah, it's supposed to say Krishma and have kavono, each and every word. I'm doing Chis Krishma now, Shnebura, the whole thing. Yeah, every word you have to be mechaven. But the Evid, you mechaven only the first pasuk. You yoytze, the second maybe a few psukim. Yeah, but the Evid you spaced out. It's not good. You yoytze. Here too, there's lechatchila and b'diavad. Since b'diavad it's okay without choimish, so l'maisa it's good edible fruit halachically. It's not muktzeh. That's all we care about in this context. The atumus hayovesh. Okay, now we're leaving the world of ashras and tumas maisres and going to the world of physicality. And we said the tumas hayovesh, the dry turmus. The turmus are kind of beans that are hard. Tumus yovesh is something which is not muktzeh. It's not very popular, but even by animals, let alone human beings, and it's raw. So since izim, goats eat it, and izim are really common in farms, therefore it's not muktzeh. You don't have goats, your neighbor has goats. Nish gefährlich. Yeah. Soon we're going to see even more outlandish cases, but izim is an easy one. Yeah, you don't have goat. Your next door farmer, the other guy in the kibbutz and the moshav in Yesodot, Beit Chilkia, wherever, somebody has izim, and therefore it's not considered muktzeh because those dry beans are okay for goats, so it's edible for the animals, and it's not muktzeh. Zog the Gemara, davka yovesh. When I read the Mishnah, I thought, to be honest, what's yovesh? Yovesh means that even though it's dry, the goats, they can manage it. But the Gemara says the other way around. Davka yovesh, davka the yovesh, only the yovesh, the dry one, is not muktzeh. Avalach loy, davka the one that's more fresh, the fresh one, the moist one, is muktzeh. My timer, kema de mori lo ochla. The one that's not dry, the one that's still more fresher, is bitter. It's bitter, so the animal doesn't eat it. Even the animals won't eat that. Okay? Up to the next Omud, Baruch Hashem. Avalo is a tevel. Avalo is a tevel. Frag the Gemara, Pshita. We are into the blacklist. Upa. Now all the bad foods, the bad boys are coming. All the food that are muktzeh, because they are not halachically or otherwise edible, kosher, they are, they're muktzeh. In fact, they're a pshita, tevel. What does tevel mean? Didn't take meiser, shkoyef. Tevel is misa b'nei shamayim. I told you, the more the end of the Yuma says that to eat tevel is worse than eating chazer. Yeah, misa, yeah, it's a big zach. Chazer is not misa b'nei shamayim, it's not even chorus. I mean, not recommendable, but so pshita, if it's tevel, of course it's muktzeh. And for the Gemara, lo tzricha. There is a chiddush here. The tevel tovel midarabanan. It's a tevel which the entire chiyuv to take meiser is the rabbanon concept, only with the rabbanon. Kigoin, we have to add the word kigoin. You see the aleph? It takes you to the word kigoin, such as, for example, shezoroi be'atzit shenanokuv. Oh. Here we are, etzit shenanokuv. It's a big balagan in Shemitah and everywhere else. Also in Shabbos, in Daf Beis, Pei Aleph in Shabbos. What's the story? If you have an otzitz, you have a flower pot, which is Eino Nokuv. Yeah, it's made out of absolutely made out of, let's say, metal or hard plastic. It's not porous, and there are no holes anywhere. Just to be on the safe side, there are no holes or no significant holes anywhere. It's closed. Then whatever, foolproof. Yeah, waterproof. Let's say. It doesn't have to be waterproof. I'm just trying to show the case. And you planted something inside, tomatoes, I don't know, something, big otzitz. You can plant many things there, cucumbers, yeah, or even something d'oraisa. Let's say vegetables, any other one. So let's go about you planted inside wheat. Wheat is chiyuv d'oraisa. Yeah, you wanted to teach your children agriculture, and you took some otzitz mamish flower pot, those long ones. There is wheat that you planted inside, you sowed inside. Is this wheat? No, it grew very nicely. You did miruach, everything. Is it chayv v'meiser, yes or no? The answer is yes and no. Midoraisa, no. Because it's not connected to the ground. It's not called oretz. Yeah, the halacha doesn't view that as gidul karka. There's karka inside the flower pot. That's not the real karka. It's not Eretz Yisrael, v'chule. If it's nokuv, if there is the hole, yeah, the hole is the size of a shoyresh. That's what the Gemara says in Daf Tzadivov in Shabbos. If it has a hole the size of a root, then we assume that it's yoinek, that it's sucking, that it's getting its energy from the ground underneath, even if it's hanging, even in the first floor. The Chazon Ish says, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it is. Some people claim that's So now, if it's nokuv, it's somehow connected to the real ground of Eretz Yisrael. But it's completely detached. You have this strong plastic closed from all sides. It's not growing in Eretz Yisrael. It's growing in a different space. So it's not chayv b'maisles. Pa kam rabbanon, and for their own reasons, they say yes, you have to take meiser from this too, even from otzitz. She'eino nokuv, you have to take meiser. Aha, and you didn't yet. Let's say it's Shabbos, and you have animal fodder in your otsar, if you remember the Mishnah, and this is all stuff which wasn't meistered, but the whole chiv is only the Rabbanon. So what about that? Havamina would be, and this is now, we're going to say something very long this soon. We got like a nice even point, like we get yeshivish now, briskers. Yeah. If the chiyuv is only the Rabbanon, there was a havamina to say that it's not Muktzeh. That's interesting. Why? Right? Well, we're Chiloni. We keep the Rabbanon, right? Yeah. Kamash Malan. No. Even though it's the Rabbanon, the chiyuv, it's something which is also the Rabbanon. It's treif the Rabbanon, but it's still called treif and it's Muktzeh. What's happening in Maskon? I don't know, but I want to connect it to another sugya which I've seen here in the Rishonim. Machlokes Rishonim, very interesting Machlokes Rishonim. I spoke to the Bochum in Yeshiva, and the beautiful, amazing Yeshiva's Reishit. I have the schus to learn with the boys. I want to ask you a question. Are you allowed to feed a little child, your beautiful choshuv grandchild, let's say, yeah? Are you allowed to feed them trefus and velas? No. To sofi b'yadayim, not supposed to stop them from eating, but to feed them is also. We're not going to the details now. Question is, machlokes rishonim, are you allowed to feed them iso derabanan? Are you allowed to feed them chicken cheeseburger? It's not so simple. Maybe yes, maybe no. Why? Because machlokes is a the rishonim they explain machlokes like that. When Rabbanan answered something, did they say that it became treif? Midoraisa, chicken and meat together, chicken and cheese together is kosher midoraisa, according to most of the halacha. The many of communists, it's mutabano and other things, according to some. Now, here's the shaila. When Chazal said the chicken and milk are osur, did they say, Rabbi said this is treif? It's as treif as the oraisa? Or do we say, no, it's not treif as a chefza, but you are not allowed to eat it? Just like you're not allowed to do all kinds of things, with the Rabbanon, you can't eat without washing your hands, right? It's not treif, the bread without netilas yadayim. You have to do an action, refrain from eating that food, but the food is not treif. Now, if committed to give it to a child, it's not going to be metamtam his slave, and you're not really machshim him, he's a cotton. So whichever issue there is in Safi Beyadayim, which is another shaila, doesn't apply to the Rabbanon, or maybe it does apply. Is the food osir, or am I not allowed to eat it? It sounds very brisker, but it's a shaila in the Rishonim. And I think that's the question over here. In the Hamavinu we thought it's also with the Rabbanon, but it's not Muktzeh. It's not really Muktzeh. I can't eat it, okay, because I have my side problem, as Tosa said before, Aliyah de Ravia, from remember Tosa from yesterday. But it's not a treif, a piece of thing. I'm limited, I can't eat it. I'll give you an example. Let's say, whatever, I have food in my house, the guy can't eat. The guy is, I don't know, allergic to dairy products. Dairy products are not also for him. He can't eat it, but others can. It's good, it's nice, it's healthy for many people. It's my problem, it's not the food's problem. Chazon Ish says it. It's a din in the chefza. Here the chefza is good. At least in the Havamina. I'm a Jew and I keep the Rabbanon. I'm Orthodox, yeah, so I don't eat it, but maybe it's not also be'etzem. Kamash Malan, it is. I don't know how the other Rishon would handle it. I don't know, I'm not in Be'iyun here, but just an interesting thought. The Maskar is no, Lamaisa it's treif, Lamaisa it's Muktzeh. Or maybe if Muktzeh, it's enough that I'm unable to eat it. One of the two. But Lamaisa, it's still called Muktzeh, even though the Rabbanon is not as strong. The Raisa. Interesting. V'lo ma'aser rishon. Okay. V'lo ma'aser rishon. What was the other thing in the blacklist? V'lo ma'aser rishon shelo nitla trumosoi. What does that mean? Says Rashi. In the Havamina, we think ma'aser rishon was given to the Levi. The Levi, what he's supposed to do now? Give trumas ma'aser to the Kohen, and he didn't. And he's not supposed to. It's a new tevel. The Levi received 1/10 from his soil. Now he has 10 apples from 100 apples of this soil. Yisrael is left with 90. He has 10, the Kohen, or 9 actually, doesn't matter, the Levi. He's supposed to give 1 apple to the Kohen, and he didn't yet do it. So therefore, he cannot consume it, and it's also for him. Pshita, of course. Obviously, nobody's allowed to eat it because you have Turumas Maisa. By the way, Turumas Maisa is also as severe as Turma. If you eat it, Misa B'nei Shemayim. So of course it's Asur. Doraisa. So what's the question? Answers the Gemara, no, you got it all wrong. Lo, it's Richa, there is a Chiddush. Shekdimoi Bekri, as we said before, Ekdimoi Bekri means what? We're not talking about a Levi who didn't give Tumas Meiser. We're talking about the fact that Israel, before he gave that to the Levi, forgot conveniently to give the Truma Gdoilo to the Kohen before, not Trumas Meiser, Truma Gdoilo, the first one, but sadly there was Bekri after Miruach. Upa, get that? What's Kri? Shtenotel Mimena Meiser, Velon Notel Mimena Truma Gdoilo. And the Truma Gdoilo is not forgiving you now. The Truma Gdoilo is standing in line. And he's telling you, don't skip the line, don't skip the queue. What do you think? You're in Israel now? No, no, no. Truma Gdoilo. Yeah, Truma Gdoilo wasn't taken and has to be taken. But what's Avamina? Oh, maybe you would have thought that Rav Papa told Abaye, what's the difference? We know that there are cases that Truma Gdoilo can be skipped. Oh, the answer is no. Abaye told Rav Papa there's a big difference. The only time that B'di'eved Truma Gdoilo can be skipped and boom, we go to the next stage and never give Truma Gdoilo, that was if Truma Gdoilo wasn't yet chayav, because there was no miruach. But once there was miruach and it was clear, hardcore, set in stone, chiyuv Truma Gdoilo, you continued, so you will haunt you until the next stage. And who has to give Truma Gdoilo now? The Levi, according to Rashi. And as long as it didn't, that's Avim. The Maskana is it's also it's Muktzeh. But the Havamina was like Rav Papa. V'lo is Ma'aseh Sheni. Oh, what are we saying now? The other one in the list of Muktzeh is Ma'aseh Sheni, which was not redeemed. You're living anywhere outside Yerushalayim, in the Heilige Bet Shemesh, for example, and you have Ma'aseh Sheni. This year is not Ma'aseh Sheni. This is Ma'aseh Oni. And next year you're going to have Ma'aseh Sheni, and you didn't take it to Yerushalayim. Okay, legit. And you did not do pidyon. You're not allowed to eat it. You're over in a say. You're not allowed to eat Ma'aseh Sheni outside Yerushalayim. Ma'aseh Sheni mamish. Frag the Gemara, cheat. Same question again and again. What's the chiddush? Of course, I'm not allowed to eat it, and therefore, surely it's muktzeh. There's a chiddush. The nifdu, they're not completely non-redeemed. They were nifde. They were not nifde properly kahalocha. Meaning, by the way, I forgot to mention also hekdesh. We'll talk meiser and then hekdesh. Meiser, the case of meiser sheni, shepdoi al gabe asimon. Meiser sheni was nifde, but it was nifde, the coin you used as the pidyon, as to transfer the kedusha, wasn't a simon. I don't know if you're old enough to know what a simonim are. You are? You remember? Oh wow, you look younger. It's a compliment. The Rachmane Omar, I'll explain to the younger people. V'tzata kesef beyodecha, davar sheyesh bo tzura, which means a simon in original language means it's a coin, the just blank coin that wasn't yet minted. It wasn't yet stamped with a picture of the king or queen or Rosh Mamshola or a monkey, whatever that is. It's just plain silver, like a token. Token. A simon actually means a token, like we all used to use as children in the phone in Israel. But the Maisa, and it has money, it's worth something, it's silver. So wait, if I take that to the guy who deals with silver, that not raw silver, but coin without the minting, that's worth money. That's worth maybe 20 shekels. So maybe I can take my Meister Sheni grapes of 20 shekels and move the Kedusha. Zog Bigmara, nice idea, but it doesn't work. Again, I'm reading, V'tzata kesef beyodecha. The pshat of the word tzata kesef beyodecha means what? Latzu is to bundle up. Take the money and when you go to Yerushalayim, redeem on money, take the money, tzror kesef, tzror hamo. We have it all over the Torah, and take it. But the drosha is davar shesh bo tzura. It has to be a coin with a tzura, with a form, with a shape. And if it doesn't have the form and shape, it's stam blank. It is a coin, just blank, nothing there. So you're not yoitze, and if you did that pidyon, you're not yoitze, and the kedusha still remains on the fruit, and therefore the fruit is muktzeh. What's a chiddush? Still, what's a chiddush? Well, if the Torah says that's not pidyon, so it's not pidyon. So what is Mishnah? Would I think it's not muktzeh? Answers the Ritva. I told you before, but the evidence, the chatchila, as we know, very nice. We know now. At Doraisa also had the evidence chatchila. Havamina was that a simon is a lechatchila. The case of tzur is lechatchila. Maybe a simon is okay, but the evid. And we just saw such concepts before, right? True? Kamash malan, that it's me'akev. When the Torah tells you tsua, excluding a simon, that is to say, simon is out of the count, it's as if you're pointing it on, excuse my language, piece of garbage. It's garnished. That's a chiddush. Because some halachas Torah is l'chatchila, not b'diavad. Kamash malan, the Ritva says, that's a chiddush here, that's me'akev. Weiter, hekdesh, same story about hekdesh. You have a piece of whatever, hekdesh fruit, and the hekdesh fruit or animal fodder, you are not mechalel, so the hekdesh remains. Well, what's a chiddush? Of course, it's if there was no hilul and the hekdesh remains, obviously it's muktzeh. It belongs to Hashem. You're not allowed to eat it. It's a big avera. So the Gemara, shechila lo al gabi karka. He was mechalit on top, not on top of. He was mechalit on karka. Let's say as hekdesh, $100,000 worth hekdesh. He takes, a quarter of a room in your Yerushalayim apartment. That's $100,000, maybe. I'm being cheap. Yeah, maybe tiny. An eighth of a machsan in Yerushalayim is an old bed one is 100,000. You took your hekdesh fruit and mechalal them over karka. Is that good? No. The Torah says about hekdesh the kamloi. It has to be the thing, the item you mechalal the hekdesh on doesn't have to be only coins. It's supposed to be sheni, but it has to be metaltalin, not karka. Gzeres hakosuv. Ein mechalalin hekdesh on karka. You can be makdish karka. People get confused. You can be makdish karka, and that's all parsha in the Torah. It's an entire masechta. Erchin and many other places, yeah. But to mechalal on karka ain't working. And the chiddush is it's me'akev. We want the no buts, no. If the chila was on karka, it's a b'di'evdik me'akev, and now the hekdesh remains 1,000,000% hekdesh, thus muktzeh. But that's a chiddush. Very nice. So we're done with those lists. Now we're going to talk about fruit and vegetables that are normally eaten by some animals, but not by others. And as we know, I'll just give a small introduction. My pet peeve. Oh, my pet peeve, excuse the pun. Yeah, in some places, things you have, let's say, whatever meat that only dogs would eat, let's say. In some neighborhoods, in every other building there are dogs, and in some neighborhoods, unheard of. I'm not a pasuk halacha, so I'm saying, but pretty sure, as far as I know, in some places, those old bones, which only dogs would eat, are muktzeh. They just go to the garbage. Yeah, if you live in a Chveis Kiryat Sefer, I don't know, I guess Kiryas Yoel, yeah, wherever, yeah. But if you live in other places, if you don't have dogs, so the guy next building would have one. And therefore what? So it's not muktzeh. Because it's roi, if not, you don't have one, other people may have the animal. That's a general rule. And let's see what the Mishnah, the Braisa, says the Braisa. Metaltalin es hachatzav mipnei shumachal atzvim. The chatzav is a kind of, Rashi says, the herb. In modern Hebrew, it's a flower, and Rashi points out the chatzav, as the Gemara says in other places, is the flower that has the root, goes very, very deep. And Yoshua made one of his takonos, what Yoshua said, when Yoshua ben Nun brought Bnei Yisrael to Eretz Yisrael, they would plant chatzav between fields to demarcate the border between fields, because nobody can line, because it goes all the way deep, deep down. I don't know why Rashi brings it down over here. We're not learning Iyun now. Interesting. But if you have chatzav, tomorrow you're going to have a chatzav in your house. Of course, we all have chatzav, yeah? If you happen to have a chatzav in your house, don't worry about it. Don't sweat. It's not muktzeh. Why? Because deer eat it. Apparently, deer in agricultural society, the deer, I thought are wild animals. But if the tzvim doesn't ayolim, which are ram. The deer eats it, so it's normal. People own deer, yeah. The Gemara, yeah, whatever. I think in Eruvin there's one case, yeah, and therefore it's considered as normal animal food, and you can carry it. It's not muktzeh. Okay. Chardal, the mustard seeds, which I want to remind you, in the Mishnah we said are muktzeh. Here, according to this opinion, chardal is not muktzeh because it's ma'achal yoinim. It's good food for the doves, the pigeons, and people own pigeons or they feed pigeons. Pigeons were very common in times of the Gemara, and it's not. Oh, so why did the Mishnah say that it's muktzeh? The first Yisrael says depends what kind of chardal, depends if people own yonim, depends on the situation. But the Tiferet also seems to be that Tzad Mechlok, it's a child in reality. Like the question of the dog. Kach nirali. I hope I understood it right. I don't know. Rashbag Oimer. Oh, Rashbag is coming now to say something else. Rashbag comes to be choilik. Says Rashbag, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Hat metaltel in shivra zchuchis. Opa. You're allowed to even carry broken pieces of glass. Yeah, shards, shrapnel, not shrapnel, or whatever, smithereens of the glass. Why? Well, ostriches, because ostriches they eat the broken, they're very strong. It's the biggest bird in the world and very, very strong. They eat what you call it, they eat stones, or they chew them, at least they like it, or the broken pieces of glass, they eat it. And since some people own those ostriches, says Reb Shimon Gamliel, yes, they too can be carried. Af metatul shivers chuchis. Now, bearing that in mind, who owns ostriches? Every person, you and me? No. The rich people do. Now, Rashbam says, even though you're not rich, you are viewed as rich, which we know the shita of Rashbam, b'nei melochim, and therefore, machal anamios. If you have broken pieces of glass, don't sweat over it. You can play with it with a broken piece of glass as long as your children don't see you. If you don't cut your hands, wear your gloves first, yeah? But I'm saying it's not muktzeh. Why? Because the ostriches eat it. Interesting. He says, af metaltalin, right? What does af mean? Says Tosfos, look at Tosfos. Af metaltalin, look at Tosfos Rashbag, please, my dear friends. Rashbag, af metaltalin, chuchis, mashma de moidel tanakama, de matir chardal. Oh, mashma also zchuchis besides chardal, right? If you remember in the Mishnah, Tanakama says don't move around the chardal, and neither the loof. Tanakama was more stricter. And Rashbag says you can move around the loof. Says Tosfos kol shekin chardal. Loof is only for orvim. Loof is only for the fancy people. Kol shekin chardal, yeah, which is also for the common people, for the yoinim. Okay, now. Frag the Gemara, yes. Amar Reb Nosson asks the Gemara b'shem Reb Nosson, El Me'ata, according to you, I can start carrying all these foods that are only consumed by these exotic animals belonging to some crazy millionaire from Las Vegas. Chavilas moros italtelu pnei shemachal lepilin. Chavilas moros, bundles of zmoyer, a bundle of what you call it, the twigs, the branches. What's all question? Carry, not carry, be dealing with it. Carry them as much as you want. It's the food of the elephants. And some rich people, their own elephants. Like, where's your limit? He comes to show how bizarre is that what you're saying, yeah? In other words, peeling, who owns elephants? 1 in a million. The circus guys in India. So if just in potential in your dream, you can own an animal so you can carry the food. He comes to show how to exaggerate the case. Rashbag. And says the Gemara, what would Rashbag say? No, don't exaggerate my case. Don't extrapolate it. In other words, nenamios are common, not as common in every household of a Kurlit and Gemani B'Shemish. Yeah, you have the rich guy in the neighborhood. He owns a Tesla / he owns an ostrich. Yeah, peeling the elephants are even more rare. Omar Meimar says the Meimar here a big disclaimer. That's a huge change from what we said. Amema claims that even Rashbag, who allowed you to carry the broken pieces of glass because there are ostriches, he only says that if you have ostriches. Otherwise, no. Chiddush. So now I have a question here, but I'm also in a rush.
What does that do with speaking?
What? Oh.
What does that do with speaking then? If it has to do with owns or not owns, then what's speaking?
I'm forced to continue the Gemara. Beautiful. The question I'm going to talk on Sunday. Very, very, very good. Ella, according to what you say, the Kamal of Nosan Rashbag, Chavilas Mosi Tatim Pnei Shemachal Apilin, he's showing how bizarre it is that Chavilas Moros, you want to tell me you can carry the elephant food? Yes. Islepilin my loin. That's your question. Yes. If we're not talking in theory, but Lemaisa, the answer is yes. Why are you saying it's such a bizarre, crazy case? If you own a UFO, you can carry UFO food. You own a whale, take whale food. What's a shaila? The whole shaila is about theory. But if you want to tell me the guy owns it lemaisa, could be the most bizarre animal, of course you can carry the food. Ella, very good, Reb David. Ra'ui, achinami ra'ui, very good. Obviously, Rashbag did not mean that. Rashbag meant because I potentially could be rich, could own an ostrich, could save the next, 5 years' salaries to buy the ostrich, and be'etzem a ben melech, v'chule v'chule, it's potential, so too it's potential. And then achinami. And he answered, yes, an elephant too. I could potential. Elamai says pilin lo shchichi. Good bag means pilin lo shchichi. Pilin are so out of it that even rich people don't own them. It's even out of the any kind of something like that. It's more than crazy. Mistome. That's a chiluk. I have much more. I have so much to say here, but no time. So we're holding an Omar Abaye. No shiur Muktzeh Shabbos because we had shiur today, right? Baruch Hashem. Sunday. See you on Sunday. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being with us, Baruch Hashem. We have more and more people following in Torah anytime. Thank you very much. Atzlachu v'rocha. Thank you to all our Torah Anytime followers, including the Talmidim Reshit. Atzlachu v'rocha to you and to everybody at home. Thank you to everybody who watches us on YouTube. Stay with us on YouTube, yeah, nowhere else. Or other Rabbanim. And a great Shabbos, and may we don't have to fast tomorrow. May we see Mashiach tomorrow. V'simcha u'b'sasa, and atzlachu v'rocha.